Today, we are looking at YouTube channels and we are talking about, or basically just sharing how you can do better with your channel. What we are looking at here is we're looking at, best practices. We're looking at how you have your channel set up. Depending on what it looks like you're doing with your YouTube channel, I might get into some information about maybe how you can make money with it, those types of things. But basically during this stream today, what we're going to be doing is we're going to be pulling up your YouTube channels. So this is something that's free, provided by TubeSpanner. So, you don't have to super chat or anything like that in order to get your channel pulled up. This is all random. So how this works is during the stream, I'm going to pick a hashtag and I'm going to mention that hashtag. I'm actually going to show it on screen so everybody can see, kind of what's going on. But basically with that hashtag, all you got to do is put that hashtag in, and the system that I'm using here is StreamYard is going to randomly select somebody that put in that hashtag, and then we're going to pull the person up. And then once they're up on screen, then we are going to look at their channel and just give some tips on things that, that they can do better. So with this, it doesn't matter if you are just getting started on YouTube or if you have a wildly successful channel. We're looking at everybody. So because of that, everybody is welcome here. But just as a heads up, as we're getting into this, a couple of things that I do want to, just kind of bring to your attention is while we are looking at, the channels that we are going to be looking at, sometimes, let me pop this out real quick. Sometimes if you are, hanging out in the chat, some people occasionally, just based on, some feedback that I've gotten, they'll get bummed out, if their channel wasn't picked or something. So I do want to let you know that when I am looking at other channels, even if your channel isn't the one selected, you can still take the information, look at your channel and say, hey, is this information that he's sharing with them, does this apply to me and what it is that I'm doing? Like, is it clear what my channel's about? Is my channel set up properly? Am I using my description correctly? Am I using my community feed correctly? Is my About Me page set up right? Those types of things. And by doing that, it's going to, help you be able to make sure that what it is that you are doing, if your channel gets pulled up or not, to make sure that everything is set up properly. And the reason that this is important is because if I do pull up your channel and we start going through things and you have everything set up properly, then that gives me the opportunity to dive deeper, right? Because then we can go through some of that, main stuff that I typically, recommend to people, and then we can get into, more deeper things. So because of that, if the information doesn't apply to you, then just, or not if it doesn't apply to you, but if your channel doesn't get pulled, then just think how this information, does apply to what it is that you are, what it is that you're doing. So right out of the gate, we're going to go ahead and get into this right now. And if you've been here before, if you've actually never been here before, let's talk about two things. One, if you've been here before, you already know how this works. Two, if you have not been here before for these free channel reviews, just as a reminder, this is something that is brought to you by TubeSpanner. TubeSpanner is a tool for YouTube content creators that helps you in all kinds of different ways. They have link and bio tools. They have AI script writing. They have an upload assistant that helps you, optimize what it is that you are doing when you're uploading your videos and helps you put all that together quickly. It's got a notepad so you can take notes, on live streams like this, video content. You can even use it to chapter your videos, but all kinds of really amazing features. You can try that out, of course, at tubespanner.com. And the Goth Farmer says, take your notes. Absolutely. Take those notes. Hey, Tiffany, what's going on? Hope you're doing awesome. Doug, nice to see you in here. So the very first one that we're going to put in here, we already got 2 entries. So some of you that have been here before, you know how this works already. So the very first one that we are going to pick, since we are here on the TubeSpanner channel for this, the very first hashtag is, of course, going to be TubeSpanner. Now with this, again, all you have to do is just put that in, and then this tool that I'm using, and this tool's from StreamYard, this is going to just like randomize those hashtags that you're putting in. It's going to pick somebody out of the chat for that hashtag. And I do want to let you know, we're going to be doing a handful of channels here. So if your channel doesn't get picked up, then hang tight. We might catch you on the next one. So just so you know what's going on there as well. So let's see here. So while I'm waiting for those to come in, let me go here real quick. And I want to let you know, in addition to integrating directly with YouTube, TubeSpanner also, hey, Renee, what's going on, man? It also directly integrates with StreamYard as well. And the upload assistant becomes the stream assistant, which is pretty cool because then you can just put your description in here. You can click on preset description, like my news that I just did, for example. I just click that and then bam, it puts that description in there for me. And then I can just put the title and then it's good to go. But here we go. We're going to go ahead and draw this. And let's see who it is that we're going to be pulling up. And it looks like the Zee Show Cruise Fun is the name of the YouTube channel. Hey, Christina, hope you're doing awesome. Nice to see you in here. So basically, we are going to pull you up. So give me 1 second here so I can go ahead and just get your channel pulled up. And then we are going to get you pulled up. And again, if you are somebody that their channel wasn't picked, don't worry about it. Like we're going to be drawing more here in just a few moments. So the Zee Show Cruise Fun. This one should come up pretty easy here in YouTube search. And then we are going to go from here. All right. Always have the hope that the official Star Wars channel will get pulled up. That'd be nice. Hey, at least I'm wearing Star Wars, at least I'm wearing Star Wars, merch. If we're going to talk about that, I got Baby Yoda, right here on my shirt right now, a little Star Wars logo, as part of this. So, I'm at least representing in some way. All right. So the Zee Show Cruise Fun. So, hey guys, this is my new cruise channel, and on this channel, W. Okay, so the very first thing I want to bring to your attention, and this applies to everybody, and this is something I'm seeing a lot right now, is when it comes to this blurb right here, and I'm going to zoom in so everybody can see this a little bit better. When it comes to this blurb right down here underneath your channel name, this is something that has been recently introduced on mobile. It's been, or on desktop. It's been available on mobile for quite some time now. But since it's been introduced on desktop, a lot of people are not using this in the way that they should. And, this isn't something that's wrong. It's just something that, people just haven't noticed yet, right? So because of that, we're having to bring a lot of attention to this right now. But you have, I believe it's 75 characters to work with right here within this area. If it's not 75, then it's like 74, 73. It's right there in that range. But the idea is where somebody lands on your channel page, right? Like, and let's just walk through this process. Let's say that I watched one of your videos or one of your shorts, and then I click on your, channel name and I land on your channel. Then the things that I have to gain information from in terms of exactly what it is that you offer in your channel is I have this area, that area here. And then of course I can scroll down and look at your videos. So since your channel name is Zee Show Cruise Fun, I'm going to guess that everything here is about, cruise, going on cruises in some way. So when I'm looking at this, I see the cruise in the boat, which is cool. But you can also use this area right here to tell people exactly what it is that you offer. So here, hey guys, this is my new cruise channel, and on this channel, blank. Instead of using it this way, just put a little statement there that's less than 75 characters that just tells the viewer what it is that they are going to get from your content. Right. And the way that you do this, just for everybody that's hanging out here, is if you go to your About Me page, then you are going to see this information right here on the About Me page. So when you update the About Me page, then that's going to, give you that option to where it'll show up here, and you can see how that's mirrored, right here. So just get that, taken care of when you get the chance. Just as a heads up, that's not going to be something that's going to make your channel like blow up or anything like that. This is just like a housekeeping thing to ensure that just everything is set up properly, that everything is clear for the people that are interacting with your YouTube channel. Because the last thing you want, and this is for everybody, last thing you want is somebody to watch one of your videos, go to your YouTube channel and like fumble around and try to figure out like, okay, well, what is this? What's going on? Are they still making this type of content? Do they have more of this type of content? Or is this just kind of like a one-off, like what's going on here? When you add that type of clarity, then it makes it to where people don't have to waste time with that. And instead they can go like, oh yeah, cool. They got a lot of this stuff. And then they can go and just start looking for more video content. So because of that, you want to make sure that you, get that sorted. Again, not going to blow up the channel. It's just one of those little, fine tuning nuance things that will help you make what it is that you're doing clear for your viewers. And another place that this can be really helpful as well is when you are publishing your statement that you're going to put here, your value proposition, it also helps you as the creator better define what it is that you're offering as well. And in some cases, that can also add clarity to you in terms of exactly what it is that you're offering and, things like that. So, so because of that, just make sure when you get the chance that you do that. So next up on the list here, yep, the blurb, Creator Classroom says. So the next thing on the list is I'm going to scroll down your channel here and just look to see what it is that you're offering. So the very first thing that I want to bring to your attention is, first off, congratulations on being 90 days sober there. But second off, if I'm coming to your YouTube channel and it's named around a cruise, you have cruise imagery there, cruise imagery here, I would be expecting to see more cruise imagery, right? Or at least more, things related to cruises. But here it looks like you are, just maybe, just trying to turn it on the camera and maybe talking about, your sobriety experience and, like other things that you're going through there. So because of that, one thing that I would recommend that you do at the most important side of things is just decide what it is that you're going to offer. Because, if you're not clear on the specific content that you're putting out on the channel, then you can't expect people that are watching like the cruise content to come over and watch this other content, right? And the people that are watching this content, you can't expect them to go and watch your cruise content if it's not something that they, are even interested in the first place. So because of that, hey, congratulations, Kellycopter. But because of that, it's really important to make sure that you are, just thinking of exactly what it is that you're offering and that you are thinking of offering something in terms of the content that you're going to be publishing, that you're offering something that you will be continue to offer consistently for a nice period of time into the future so that you can actually, build a brand around something on YouTube. Now, if you're just doing this as like, a hobby and you're just like, hey, I'm just using this as like a place to just throw up videos, not a big deal. But if you are like, hey, I would love to just seriously, take this channel a little bit more serious and try to grow it and, grow viewership and things like that, then in that case, I would definitely start doing that. In addition to that, you need to start using custom thumbnails with all of this. Because with custom thumbnails, I can't remember the exact stat, but I think it's like 80 or 90% of all of the highest performing videos on YouTube use custom thumbnails. So you want to make sure that you are using custom thumbnails and that you're not duplicating like this, because right now you have over 270 subs, over 27,000 views. Thank you. And then a month prior, 200 subs, over 22,000 views. So when it comes to the content that you're offering as well, it's important to just make sure that you're always thinking about, we're going to pull up another channel right here in a second, but it's important to always just make sure that you're thinking about like what's in it for the viewer. So like when you publish a piece of content to YouTube, the viewer, they need to be getting some type of value out of that as well. So celebrating a milestone or something like that, nothing wrong with that at all. But when it comes to, like building a channel that has cohesive content on it for the sake of, your enjoyment of making that content, but also growing an audience, you want to make sure that you are, kind of fine tuning that side of things. So the next channel that we are going to pull up here, and I'm just going to grab this one out of the StreamYard giveaway tool as well here. We have, yeah, and you got some love in here as well from some other people also about, congratulations on, your progress with your sobriety as well. So congratulations on that. So let's see here. So let's go to TubeSpanner11 is going to be our next hashtag. And if you're just joining us, what we're doing is we are doing free channel reviews. So all you have to do, you don't have to super chat, you don't have to do anything like that. All you have to do is just put in this hashtag if you want your channel, pulled up on screen and you want me to just look at it and just give you some feedback. Because I know that, as a content creator, our lives are typically, private in terms of like, or what it is that we're doing on YouTube is typically private to where, we can't get like real feedback from people that we don't know to where they can actually, just kind of, break down what's happening on our YouTube channels. So because of that, this is just a cool thing to where, you can just get somebody that isn't familiar with, the content that you're putting out and all of that, to where they can look at what it is that you're doing, give you that, first impression in terms of, what I think the channel's about and just some, best practice tips on things that you can do better or to improve, I should say. So let's see, we got 46 entries, just waiting for a few more to come in here. Just make sure we give everybody time to participate. And just as a reminder, if you do not get your channel pulled up, don't sweat it. Not a big deal because we're going to be pulling up more. But in addition to that, the information that I'm sharing, if you can just kind of cross-reference it with your channel, right? And say, hey, these other things that he's recommending to these people, like, am I doing those things? Because, getting everything set up properly and all of that is definitely something you want to make sure that you do. Millers, what's going on? Hey, Jerry, thanks for the heads up on the typo over there. I'll check that out after this one. I saw that in the comments on the news on my channel. All right, so we got Kayskiiz is our next channel here. So Kayskiiz is the one that we are going to pull up. So give me a second and let me find them here. And while I'm doing that, if you are enjoying the concept of what it is that we are doing here today, make sure that you hit the like button. Also, if you haven't yet, because we're doing these here on a regular basis. So if you are enjoying this, then make sure you subscribe as well to this channel, because we're going to be doing these more on a regular basis. Yeah, Milris, the verified check mark just helps it stand out. I actually, on the live stream view, I don't know if you live stream or not, but on the live stream view, it puts like this gray box around your name, and it puts that check mark next to it, so it just kind of helps it stand out. Okay, so we got Kayskiiz up here, and I'm going to pull this one up, do a quick check here to make sure everything is like family friendly and whatnot. Looks like it is at a quick glance. So we will go with this. Okay, so let me pull this up. Let me make it here a little bit bigger. So it looks like you are a anime channel, maybe. Let's see what we got here. Okay. So Kayskiiz, anime, sports, and other games when I have time. Man, I almost feel like we've seen this before. I don't know if I've seen this like in my other stream, or if I've seen this, like, I'm not sure where I've seen this. Maybe it was in one of the other review streams, but I feel like I've seen this. I feel like I've seen this before. Let's see here. And by the way, we're 4 subscribers on the Tube Spanner channel away from hitting 30,000 subscribers, which is pretty cool. So thank you guys for that. But let's see here. So as we go down the channel here, so right out of the gate, it says you do anime, sports, and other games when you have time. So since you're doing anime, I don't know if your anime is games or if your anime is actual anime. But one thing that that I just want to share with you here is that when it comes to your anime content, the thing that you want to think about, if it is not a game, is when it comes to anime, sports, and then you have other games, the and other games is what makes me think that, these are all anime games as well. But one thing to think about is if it's not, is when it comes to, the people that are watching anime versus the people that are playing games, those aren't, always reaching the same type of audience. So because of that, if you are doing anime that isn't a game with playing games, then in that case, I would just get a little bit more clear on what it is that you're offering, kind of like I talked about with the last channel as well. But let's see here, two more here for the subscribers. We almost got it. But yeah, so I just wanted to make that clear. But what you are doing correctly here is you have the anime, sports, and other games when I have time. So if somebody came from, another video and they landed here, if they were watching like an anime game, then that would make sense to them, or a sports game. And then you have other games. So, I'm getting the vibe that you're a gaming channel. So we're just going to roll with that and see kind of how that pans out. The next thing that I want to mention is this blurb here, like I was talking about before. You can use this blurb, and it comes from your About Me page. You can use this blurb and your About Me page information to share information with your viewers of exactly what it is that they're going to offer. Because the thing that we can't expect is we can't expect people that are interacting with our content to just default know what it is that we're doing, because they can't, right? So the only thing that they know, if you have a new viewer, somebody that's never watched any of your content before, the only thing they know about you and your YouTube channel is what they have just experienced with that first video that they watched, right? And then for the people that do click and they come to your channel, for those people, they are the ones that you need to make sure that you're adding that clarity for, because then as soon as that clarity is there, they don't have to burn their own energy trying to figure out what it is that they're doing, while also getting distracted by their phone, by, YouTube showing them other things over here and all that. Instead, it's like, oh, this is what they do. Let's look for content because I'm into it, right? So it just makes it easier to do that. But as we are looking down the page here, so you're using playlists, you have all that set up, that's good. So one thing I want to mention to you is, since you are just getting started here, one thing that I would not do right now is I would not be sending people off to these other channels Instead, I would try to ensure that all of the activity that they can take on your YouTube channel page is driving them more into your channel specifically. You can do this kind of stuff later, but right now, while you're trying to get momentum on your YouTube channel, the most important thing that you can do is have somebody watch one of your videos and then further engage with your content, right? So it's like watching more videos, subscribing to the channel, liking videos, all those things. If you can get them more engaging with your content, that's a gajillion times better than sending them off to someone else before they might even get the opportunity to subscribe to your channel or enjoy more of your content. Because as you know, YouTube is a huge sea of content and they have tons of options on what it is that they can watch. So you want to make sure that you are keeping them focused while you're trying to get that initial momentum. You want to make sure that you're keeping them focused on your channel, right? So, I wouldn't have those on here right now. The next thing I'm going to look at here is your thumbnails, and then we're going to pull somebody else up. So, Gina DeHokage revamped episode 1. Okay, so when it comes to writing titles, and this is some information here for everyone. When it comes to writing titles, you have informational titles, which is what this is. And then you have titles that are informational plus, compelling. And then you also have like some best practice things. So when it comes to best practices, first, I'm going to talk about that. So one thing that YouTube recommends is, you see how you have your episode 1 right up here in the very beginning. You're doing it correctly here, but you're doing it incorrectly here. YouTube actually recommends that you use any episode numbers, or if if you're somebody that puts your channel name in your title or something like that, they recommend that any additional stuff that isn't the actual, compelling title, they recommend that you put that at the end of your titles. And the reason for that is because screen real estate, in terms of the, amount of characters you have before YouTube cuts off your titles in some places on YouTube, the amount of screen real estate that you have is limited. So because of that, you want to make sure that you're using that in a way that gets the information to your potential viewer, so that they're not, either distracted by that stuff, or so that you can just make sure that they see everything that they need to see in order to decide to click on your video or not. So because of that, any of your content where you have the episode numbers at the front like this, take it out and move them to the back if you want to have your episode numbers on there. Next, when you have your informational titles, and I started to walk down this road before I saw the episode 1 over here. When you have informational titles, they're fine. And informational titles are definitely, a step in the right direction, because you're letting people know, like, hey, this is what the video is about, right? You're not trying to like clickbait people or anything like that. But when you can add something compelling to your title, you can make a more compelling title. What you're doing is you are increasing the likelihood of people clicking on it. Now, it doesn't mean that they're going to enjoy the video. It doesn't mean they're not going to enjoy the video, but it just means that you're increasing the likelihood of people actually clicking on the video if it's something that they feel they need to see, compared to, oh, this is just something about this, right? So as an example, I'm not sure what Get Into Hokage Revamped is, but let's see if this is anime or a game. Hold on really quick. I'm just looking for this. Okay, so this is a game. So here, when you have Get Into Hokage Revamped, like when it comes to making your title more compelling, that actually starts at the topic level, right? So before you even make your content, and here's a power tip for everybody here. Before you make your content, Helicopter dark mode is indeed king. But before you make your content, if you want your videos to perform better, make your title and come up with ideas for your thumbnail first before you commit to making a video. The reason that this is important and the way that this is going to help you is because if you can come up with a good title and some good concepts for your thumbnail before you make the video, that helps you ensure that the video that you're putting together and the way that you're putting it together matches the expectations that somebody might have when they click on it, right? So because of that, in a situation like this, Get Into Hokage Revamped episode 1, that's informative, right? People can definitely get some information out of there, but there isn't anything about that that makes you feel like, oh, I need to watch that, right? If it showed up on your homepage. But if it was like, Get Into Hokage Revamped, these changes are crazy, or these, this update, blew me away, or, something like that. Those are kind of generic versions, but they do the trick. But those types of things can just add more compellingness to what it is that you are doing with your titles. So because of that, just when it comes to your titles, just make sure that you are thinking about them before you make the video, but that you are being informational and or you know, compelling with them in order to, you know, increase the amount of people that are clicking into what it is that you're doing. In terms of the thumbnail, because I'm not familiar with this particular, you know, game, you know, you are featuring characters in here. They're big and prominent. You have text on here, but it's also, you know, repeating what it is that you have in the title there in terms of like who they are or what that game is. So I think in terms of the thumbnail and helping people identify that your video is about, you know, that, I think that your thumbnail is okay. But when it comes to the title, all of your titles actually, I think that you need to work on being more compelling with your titles. So with that, one thing to think about is if you are, you know, like, okay, how do I make my titles more compelling? Just start Googling, start looking for information about how to write headlines, how to convey emotion through text, those sorts of, you know, Google searches and YouTube searches, and you'll start uncovering information that will start leading you down the right path on how to write more compelling headlines. All right, let's get somebody else in here. Let's see here. So next up on our list here, hopefully that was helpful, Kayskiiz. And hey, really quick also for everybody that that gets their channel pulled up, if you need additional clarity, like, you know, if I'm like, hey, you know, do this or consider this, if any of the stuff that I say is confusing or you just need more clarity, you know, to help you move forward with the ideas that I share, you can feel free to hit me up on Twitter via DM. So you can just DM me on Twitter, and then I will, you know, add any clarity that you need. Okay. So this one is going to be TubeSpanner33 is going to be the hashtag that we are using here. And Roar says, "Are you reviewing channels from the chat?" Yes, that's what we're doing here during these streams today. And again, this is free, so you don't have to super chat for it or anything like that. This is just, you know, looking at channels, giving you tips on things you can do better. And we can all do better. We all have places to improve. Okay, so we're up to 41. Let a few more of these come through. And I haven't looked yet to see if we crossed 30,000. Oh, one more. I need one more. I need one more of you to subscribe so I can get this screenshot real quick. Okay, let's see here. I'm just going to refresh this, and we are almost there. Just one more. Out of everybody, we got like 100 people in here. One more. I need one more. There we go. That's what I'm talking about. Congratulations to TubeSpanner for 30,000 subscribers. Woo! All right, love it. So let's see here. So the draw here. Here we go. We've got drum roll. Uma for you. Okay, Uma for you. Let's see if I can find your channel here on YouTube, on the tubes of you. And hey, really quick also, like, you know, while I'm pulling up these channels and all of that, like if anybody does have any questions about, you know, anything like YouTube related, you know, definitely you can feel free to drop that in the chat if I see it while I'm pulling up these channels, and I can kind of answer it while I'm pulling up the channels, and that, you know, it'll kind of help as well. So like in this one, I'm actually having to dig a little bit for this channel. So we'll see. Okay. Yeah, we got it. Okay. So let's see what we got here. All right. So let's see here. It says, Nick, time to make a video. I gave TubeSpanner 30,000 subscribers. Let's see here, but still watch. Which Nick is this? Yep, this is the real one. Love that you're doing this, Nick. You can learn loads from all these channel reviews. Yeah, totally. Like we had at the, Nick, so one of those channels you saw, mine was a group channel. So that would be different. It's not different. And the reason it's not different, Kayskiiz, and I'm just going to address this question here real quick. The reason it's not different is because unless the channel is targeted towards the same exact type of viewer, you could actually work against yourself when you are having people jump from one channel to the next. The only reason that I recommend this TubeSpanner channel from my channel is because it's like similar content, right? It's similar content targeted towards the same people. So because of that, it's a good fit. If this was a channel where I was, let's say, let's say we were here doing like, tips on like making coffee, then I wouldn't redirect it from my channel, because then I could negatively impact the growth of the channel, because the people interacting with the coffee channel wouldn't necessarily be there for the content. They would just be coming over to support, the channel, right? There'd be some people that would, but in terms of, the massive amounts of people interacting with the channel, it would be, sending the wrong signals to YouTube on who the content is actually made for. So it can kind of mess up who the system recommends the content to. So because of that, you definitely don't want to, be cross-pollinating, especially when you're first getting started. When you have, a decent amount of activity happening on your channel, it can be a little bit easier to do, and it makes a little bit more sense if you're going to do that kind of stuff. But, one thing that you commonly see, just to kind of give you an example here, really quick before we look at this channel, is like, you'll see when huge channels like Mr. Beast or Casey Neistat and, channels like that have just like hyper engaged audiences, when they recommend somebody that's not making similar content, that person will just get a huge boost in activity on the channel. But in most cases, those channels will also have like a recovery period. And that recovery period, like the bottom just kind of falls out. And the reason for that is because YouTube starts recommending the content on that channel to all those people, because the system identified that, hey, they came in, they watched some videos and all that. And then the system will start recommending videos of those people, but they don't respond to them because they're not into that type of content. So you can, really work against yourself in that way. But especially, when it comes to like, a lot of content creators like, oh man, I wish I had a shout out from like a big content creator, but those types of things can actually like hurt you as well. In other cases, they can be a great fit. For example, PewDiePie, he shouted out, I think it was Jacksepticeye, and that kind of helped him, just kind of get started, so to speak, and he's been able to maintain. But it was an audience of people that were liking similar content at the time because they were both doing gaming. So, but on this channel here, we're going to go ahead and go through this. And by the way, if you are just joining us, we are doing free channel reviews. So in order to participate, all you have to do is, after I'm finished with this channel, I'm going to mention a hashtag, and then you just put that hashtag in. And then if it, I use just a random, picker. And if it picks yours, then we pull you up and we give you some tips. So let's see here. Yeah, the Goth Farmer says, no, thank you. I choose organic growth. Absolutely. Absolutely. So let's see here. So UMA4U. So first off, just as a heads up, this is relatively short, but I do think the name itself, would be a little bit hard to remember. So like, for example, if I was like, having coffee with my brother, D, and I was like, hey man, I checked out this, channel. He's doing, all this, cool content. Absolutely love it. You should check it out. Me saying like, here's the, recommendation of that channel. Like, hey, what's the name? I'd be like, it's like UMA4U. Is it 4 or the number 4, or the number 4 spelled out, right? It's just a little bit hard to remember. Not a huge deal, but it is a big deal if you want people to easily remember your name. And really quick, I saw somebody earlier talking about, says I recently, let's see here, got TubeBuddy, a bit of a learning curve, must say that I'm excited to try it out. Yeah, so TubeBuddy is different than TubeSpanner. So they have two completely different tool sets. So TubeBuddy helps you with like optimizing your videos for search and all of that, A/B testing your thumbnails, all types of, workflow related tools as well. With TubeSpanner, what they're doing is they're doing like AI script writing, regular script writing, thumbnail builders. They have link and bio tools where you can interconnect all of your social accounts. They have an upload assistant that helps you speed through all of your uploads and quickly select videos that you want to add to your video descriptions without having to actually dig around your channel for them. You can share content directly from YouTube. So like, you don't have to leave YouTube to like schedule out like social media posts, distributing your content across LinkedIn, Facebook, and Twitter. It has a ton of great tools that help you with creating and distributing your content. So you can find out more about it, tubespanner.com. It's down in the description below, of course. But when it comes to the, they don't, NLM Entertainment, not even remotely close in terms of the same things. But basically on this channel, this is one of the ones as well where we got to add that clarity up here. So if I just watch one of your videos and then I land here, like this doesn't really tell me what's going on. Plus I'm guessing you're doing this on a mobile device because you have these white panels over on the side. For desktop users, just kind of makes things look a little bit junky. So one thing that you can do is there's probably some tool that you can use to do this. I know Photoshop does it, but depending on if you have that or not, there are things that you can use to kind of fill this out for you, where you can download the graphic and then you could drop it into the software and it'll just kind of build out those. With all the AI tools available, you'll be able to do that as well. But the idea is to just kind of fill this out just so it looks a little bit better. And then also adding a little bit of clarity to what it is that you're actually offering on the channel. Again, you don't have to do that here. If you fix the image, you can just leave it here because you are using this area properly, where this is video related to martial arts and movies. That's good. Like you've used this particular area properly. It's actually the first channel that I've seen in a while that has, or that I've pulled up, in a while that is using that properly. Next is with this right here, you are missing an opportunity. So, this video right here is for people that are not subscribed to the YouTube channel. So because of that, I would definitely fill out a little bit of a description here, let people know kind of what it is that you're offering. And then if you add question mark, let's see here, question mark equals, question mark sub_ confirmation equals sign, 1, the number 1, then if you add that to the end of this, then what you're going to be able to do is you'll make a subscribe button here. So then you can say, have a little blurb, for, to stay, up to date with, martial arts and movie content, remember to subscribe, and then you have an extra, subscribe button there. So I would do that. But also on the opportunity side, by not filling out your video descriptions, you are not putting in much effort into, actually optimizing this stuff for discovery. So when it comes to discovery of your content, YouTube looks at your title. They look at the information in your thumbnail. They look at the information in the video content itself. And they, in terms of like reading captions, looking at the actual imagery in the videos, but they also use the description for context as well. So you want to make sure that you are filling out your descriptions. YouTube recommends that you at least do like a sentence or two. Let's see here. So next up on the list here as we go down. So next up, the next thing I'd recommend to you on your channel page itself is to move. Okay, first, if you look at your most popular videos, we have a year ago, 4 months ago, 9 months ago, 10 months ago, a year ago. So it kind of gives the vibe like you're not even like uploading to this channel anymore. If I just landed on your page and I'm looking for content, let me make sure you are. Okay, 2 days you are. So because of that, what you want to do, actually 2 reasons. 1, because it shows that you're consistently uploading to your channel. And 2, it also helps feed the viewers that are coming into your channel page into some of your most recent content. So the very top playlist that everybody here should have on their channel should be your most recent uploads. YouTube has the option to where you can pick that from the selection when you're adding those to your channel page. But you can also create custom playlists to where you can just put in, the videos that you want to feature there. But the idea when you do the custom version is that you are essentially only doing that so you can take content out. So if you do some type of content, you don't want it showing up in your most popular or your most recent uploads, then in that case, you can say, okay, I'm not going to put this one in that playlist because I don't want to feature it on my channel page. I just want to feature the best content that I've published, recently. But you want to get that playlist of your recent content up here to the top because 1, like I said before, it helps show people that you're consistently uploading. Number 2 is one thing that's really important for your YouTube videos is people interacting with them so that YouTube can quickly determine who is a good fit for your content and who is not so that they can recommend your videos to the right people, right? So the real reason or the most important reason that you want to do this is because every viewer that lands on your channel page and that is enticed by one of those videos that you've uploaded recently that's at the top of your channel page, every person that you send in there is one more person that YouTube will collect data from in terms of their response to your video, which helps fine tune who it is that they're showing your content to. So because of that, you want to get those up there so you can try to drive more people into them. Now, per the view that you're looking at here on my computer screen, you might be thinking to yourself, well, hey, look, if somebody lands on the channel, then, it's going to be easy for them to just kind of scroll down and find what it is that they need. But if you go and look at your channel on a mobile device, which is where most of the viewership happens on YouTube, then the experience that you're going to see there, it's going to make tons of sense why you want to make sure that you're prioritizing your recent content at the top. And I'll just tell you what happens, a little spoiler alert here. The reason that you want to do that is because when people hit your YouTube channel page, they have to scroll a lot in order to get through, you know, all your different playlists. So because of that, the first content that you want them to see is that most recent content, right? Because that's what they're going to be focused on as they're going down the page. Video, 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 video. So you want to send them your most recent content and get them into that. So make sure that you're doing those things. In addition to that, just a minor thing. This part isn't going to like make a big difference. This is more of a housekeeping thing. But here you have movies as your playlist titles, right? Everybody here should always think about what it is that you're doing with your playlist titles. The way that you're currently using them is these are like a categorical thing. So you're like, hey, martial arts, movies, acting classes, right? You're just kind of making this really general. But what you actually want to do is you want to make these specific. So if it's like a certain type of martial arts, or if it's martial arts training, or, you know, things like that, then you want to make that clear here because it adds additional context for people without them having to analyze videos. And the reason you want to do this is because you are constantly competing with everything in your viewers' real life in their direct proximity. You're also constantly competing with all of this stuff for desktop users that people see here. You're also competing with phone notifications and anything that, you know, is trying with the dopamine hit that everybody's brain wants that keeps them always looking at their phones. You're competing with that. So because of that, you want to make everything as clear as you possibly can on your channel. And one of the ways that you do that is by adding that clarity. So here, it looks like you're putting out like a certain type of movie. So if you are, then in that case, just at being clear on, you know, what types of movies that you are, what types of movies you're doing. Let's see here really quick. I'm just going to look at something here for you 5 days ago. Travel channel. This is another one where you're cross-pollinating. I also would not do that here in your case either, not yet. Yeah, and I would use your community tab more as well. So one of the things that I just mentioned in the news, just in case you didn't see it, is that these community feeds in the past, they weren't visible on tablets. So now they're starting to roll it out to where they are visible on like Android tablets and they will be soon on iPads as well. So because of that, you know, that's one more reason and one more place where you can pull a potential viewer or one of your favorite viewers or one of the people that love your channel, where you can pull them back into your channel for like another session on your channel. So I would start doing those immediately. Another thing that we have to look at here is your titles and your thumbnails. So here, when it comes to thumbnails, like this kind of stuff can work, right? To where it's just kind of like an amateur like shot of something. Those kind of things can work, but you know, it's helpful to take the time to kind of polish them up a little bit, to kind of draw focus to very specific things. Like as an example here, you have the person standing there, but there's no real idea on like, you know, like is there somebody over here that she's looking at or something like that? Like what's happening over here? So like, you know, taking the time to like, you know, Photoshop, and there's apps you can do this into, but to like, you know, remove this person over here, maybe kind of blur out, you know, some of what's going on in the background, just a touch, so that like she pops out more, or, you know, if it's somebody else that you're trying to get to pop out, like this person, I'm not sure, but to where there's a clear focus with your thumbnail. Because here, when it shows up, the thing that you are winning with is that, you know, this does demonstrate that it does have something to do with martial arts, like right out of the gate, it's pretty clear. But if there is something specific you want somebody to focus on, then do that. Here, you've done a great job because here you have like a nice, you know, nature image and then it has natural and lifelike. So you are, you know, like the focus is a little bit more there, but the downside is it looks like you are just sharing like a Dolby sound intro or something like that, which that doesn't really, you know, demonstrate either. Another thing that is kind of a bigger elephant in the room is right now on your current channel, you are putting out martial arts content. You're putting out movie related, you know, type things. This one's also a movie related type thing. This one's like some CCTV thing going on. So what you want to make sure that you're thinking about, and this is important for everybody here, is you want to make sure that you're thinking about if somebody's going to be interacting with my YouTube channel, they are into a certain type of content. Sure, everybody likes a bunch of different stuff, but the idea is when you are creating a YouTube channel, you are creating a resource of content for a certain type of viewer that's into that type of content. So when you mix up things like, hey, I'm gonna make some martial arts videos and I'm also gonna put out movie videos or movie related videos, then what you're doing is you're making it to where people that are into the martial arts stuff, then, it's like, hey, hey, when you publish a martial arts video, they're gonna be like, hey, this is great. But when you publish a movie video, it's possible that YouTube will show them your movie videos. And like, if they're really engaged in your channel and they're enjoying your content, then the system's gonna be like, hey, this person enjoys content from this channel, so they just made a new video, so let's test it against them and see if they enjoy it. So what happens is YouTube will then show some of that movie content to the people that are interested in martial arts. And when that happens, if those people don't care about those movies, then they're not going to click on them, which then is going to hurt your initial click-through rate or the initial response you're getting on your videos. When it comes to the martial arts content, it works in reverse that way too. So if somebody comes in and they subscribe and they enjoy your movie content, and then YouTube recommends them the martial arts stuff, then what you're doing is you are creating difficulty for yourself, because YouTube is going to be recommending the martial arts to the movie people who might not care about martial arts, which means that they're not going to click on it, or probably not going to click on it. And because of that, then you are also working against yourself and hurting your click-through rate from the people that are the most engaged in your channel, which is a really bad sign to YouTube. So because of that, I would pick what it is, or I would decide what it is that you are going to offer on your YouTube channel. The theme of your YouTube channel. What are you gonna, what are you gonna be known for about your YouTube channel? And then make sure you're building everything, around that, or to serve that. All right, next up, we got another one here coming up. So first off, everybody, welcome to the stream here today. So you're watching this on the Tube Spanner YouTube channel. So we do these here, on a regular basis. So make sure you subscribe if you haven't yet. We actually just crossed 30,000 subscribers. Thank you for everybody that participated there. Basically how this works is it's 100% free, and we are pulling up channels randomly. So how this works is I'm going to put up a hashtag. And when I put up this hashtag right here in a second, then all you have to do is put that hashtag in the chat if, and only if, you want me to pull your channel up and give you some tips. And then from there, I'm going to hit the draw button, and then it's going to just randomly select somebody that put in that hashtag. And if your channel gets picked, then we'll put you on stream. If it does not, then hang tight, because we're going to be doing another channel as soon as this one is complete for this next one that we pull up. So while you guys are putting in those hashtags, I'm just going to look through the chat here really quick, see if there's anything going on. Let's see here. We've got cool. Hey, everyone. Late to the party, but ready to take notes, says Maddox Investments. Welcome, Maddox Investments. How's everybody doing this morning or afternoon, says the Kyle Cripper Vlogs. Doing fantastic. Thank you. Motive Music Studios is always keen to learn. Nice. You're in the right place. A+ Russian. What's going on? Hope you're doing awesome. Let's see here. So waiting for those to come in. Right now we're like 47, just waiting for a handful more. Let's see here. All right. So we're going to draw on here. We're at 65. Hey, by the way, are there any real estate agents in the chat right now besides Christina Smallhorn? Like, if you're not, even if you're not participating in the stream right now, if you are a real estate agent, just let me know if you are. And even if you're not, like, even if there's none here for the replay, I do want to let everybody here know that, or that might happen to watch this on the replay. So Christina Smallhorn, who you see, interacting here in the chat, let me find her name here really quick, just so you can, spell it right and all that. So she actually has a course that she put together, because she does phenomenal on her YouTube channel around, like, real estate related topics. Her and I believe it's Daryl Eve's brother. I think that's who she partnered with on this. They built a course specifically for YouTube real estate people, like people that are leveraging YouTube to bring attention to their real estate business. So look her up, go to her channel, go to her About Me page, contact her, and get information on that, because she's crushing over there, and she can teach you a lot. So so make sure that you check her out, if you get the chance. So see here, JillyBeany is our next channel that we are going to be looking at here. So let's pull this up, see what we've got going on. Okay, getting ready to cross 1,000 subscribers, getting close to 1,000 subscribers. Congratulations to you. Channel art's super cute. So let's see here. Let's see what we got. So let's see. Bam. Okay, so we have JillyBeany. JillyBeany, she is approaching 900, almost 1,000 subscribers with 33 videos. So yeah, doing awesome. A digital artist and passionate gamer, also using this area properly. Love it. Love seeing that. My shop and art links below. This is cool. So you sell your art is what I'm getting from this. Let's see here, KA Digital Art Shop. Okay, so the very first thing I want to bring to your attention, we're going to talk about the channel stuff here in a minute, but if you are using your YouTube channel to drive viewers to another thing, because you're using that to make money, if you are prioritizing your art shop, which you are, instead of having the words, because you can choose, you can customize the words that you use here. Instead of having Ko-Fi Digital Art Shop, put a call to action there. So a call to action is basically telling people to do something, right? You're calling them to action, to take an action. So instead of having the informational side, which is, hey, this is a Ko-Fi digital shop, instead get my art here. And then by doing that, get my art here, click here for my art, check out my art store here, those types of things can cause people to click on your links more, because that's one of those things also. One of the things you always hear me talking about, it doesn't matter if we're talking about YouTube channels or sending traffic somewhere, like we're always talking about clarity, right? Making sure that, people understand what's happening and what you want them to do, what you want them to do next. So with this, you want to make sure that you are adding like a real call to action here that is informative, but then you're also telling them to do it. And by doing that, you'll get more people, clicking on this. Love that you're doing merch already, like not even 1,000 subscribers yet, and you already have some monetization options in place. I absolutely love seeing that, because that's the fastest way to like full-time on YouTube, or making YouTube a really good side hustle if you maintain your normal job and all that. So like taking those actions now as you're like just getting started is a great step in the right direction to ensure that that you're going to be able to leverage the power of YouTube in order to get some financial gains from it, so you can reinvest that into what it is that you're doing on YouTube to make everything even better and put some extra money in your pocket. So that's excellent. Love it. So let's see here. So as I scroll down the page, so right here, you uploaded this a month ago. So when it comes to this subscribe spot, just make sure that you are, that you are just being intentional about the videos that you put here. So a few ways that you can do this, and I've been talking about this for a long time. I know Film Booth, he just put out a video talking about this specifically, but like this area right here, you can use it for a bunch of different stuff. Like his video is about how you can make money with it, but this area right here, there's some strategic ways that you can use this on the non-subscribed and the subscribed side. So the very first on the subscribe side is also, being specific about the video that you put here and having like a call to action to subscribe. Since you have stuff specifically that you're selling, this is also another opportunity for you to make more money by also putting a link to your art here. So even though this is a piece of video content and you want people to watch the video, you also have the option right here to where instead of just having the link up here, you can also put it front and center for desktop users. Mobile users won't see this, but for desktop users, then when they see this little area right here, they'll see, your store, check out my art here. And then they'll see a link to your YouTube channel, and you add a question mark, sub. I'll actually type it into the chat so you guys can have it. But at the end of your channel URL, which you get right up here at the top, you put question mark, sub underscore confirmation equals 1 at the end. And then when you put that in this area right here, then what's going to happen is that turns it for desktop users. This does not work on mobile, but for desktop users, which is going to be the only people that see that, when they click on that, it works the same exact way as the subscribe button does, where it'll pop up that dialog box. So the idea there is that you're putting those things in here as well as your description, right? So you want to make sure that, you're filling out your description, but then you're leaving the space down here that you can use to, send people to those things. So because of that, by adding those types of things here, you're increasing, the awareness about those things, which then will help you over time increase sales and, and your subscriber conversions as well. Next, you have your new videos up here at the top, which is great. One problem that I do see, we'll talk about that here in a second. Okay, so You've got all these: Grand Theft Auto Fashion Series, Red Dead Online Fashion Series. This is good. Animal Crossing Inspirational Series, past live streams, shorts. Okay, so right now I would not do this. And I mentioned this on another channel that we looked at as well. Hey, we got Harris on here. That's cool. So one thing that I would not do here is I would not put the favorite creator area on here. I'd remove this from your channel right now. The reason for that is, let's say that I'm one of your viewers, right? And I'm like, wow, that was a really cool video. Let me hit the channel page and see what else they got. And I'm looking, I'm like, oh, that looks interesting. Oh, this is cool. Oh, they do Red Dead Redemption. That's cool. Grand Theft, oh, cool, sweet. I love Grand Theft Auto. Animal Crossing. Oh, they live stream too. That's cool. Wow, long live stream, 6 hours. That's no joke. Let's see here. Shorts, okay. Favorite creators, Afterlife, never heard of them. Let me go and watch Afterlife. What is this? And then now gone, right? So, you know, you may not ever get the opportunity to see that viewer again because you've just led them into something else after they just watched like one of your videos for, you know, some of the scenarios there. So because of that, I would take those off for now. Like once your channel gets bigger and you have a lot of activity happening on your channel, then in that case, you know, adding those types of things is okay if you want to. But it's more valuable to you as the content creator to use these sections that we have on YouTube. So these are called sections, by the way, for those of you that are new to YouTube. But all sections are on your channel page is they're playlists that you add to your channel page. And the way that you want to use these is you want to put your most recent videos at the top. And then underneath that, the way that they're, you know, sectioning off content here, you want to do that based on the content that is driving the channel. So as an example, if Red Dead Online Fashion Series is the content that's driving this channel right now, meaning that most of the viewership on the channel is coming from Red Dead Online Fashion Series content, then this should be the first playlist after the recent content playlist. Underneath that, if Grand Theft Auto content is the second highest performing content on the channel, then that would be number 2, and then so on down the list as you're going through this. Structuring your channel page that way so that the people that are already interacting your content can more easily find more of the content that they care about in your YouTube channel. Doing that is going to bring you more benefit than doing this. And it's also going to bring more benefit to your viewers because it's going to make it easier for them to find more of the content that they are interested in without having to explore, you know, some of these other channels or hopping back up into YouTube search or just hitting, you know, the homepage of YouTube or whatever, looking for more content that they want to watch. Now let's talk about the elephant in the room. So your thumbnails are really busy. They're really, really busy. What I would love for you to try, I mean, you're doing great, by the way. Like you've got, you know, I think it said 33 videos and you're already at almost 1,000 subscribers. Your second video has 40,000 views on it. Your first one has 13,000 views. I just want to use this as a quick example for all the people in here that have been misled by new YouTube communities where new YouTubers hang out, where they say things like, oh, you got to upload tons of videos in order for, you know, in order for YouTube to show your content to the right people, or you got to upload tons of videos in order for the algorithm to figure you out or in order to have a good video or anything like that. This right here is a clear demonstration that your videos can do fine, even if your channel is brand new, right? So when YouTube recommends them to people, if they respond well, then, you know, your videos can do well. So, but the thing that I want to bring to your attention is if you look at your thumbnails, there isn't any real clear focus in your thumbnails. So I see that you have the text, you know, beautiful female outfits, and you kind of have that as kind of like your template. I would encourage you to try as an experiment because, you know, the people that you're trying to reach, they might respond to these because, you know, you do have videos in here, you know, almost 7,000 views there, 2,000 views here, 16,600, like you're doing all right. But one thing that I would like you to experiment with, if you are open to it, is for the next video that you publish that's in this style, to where it's one of these breakdowns of the different outfits, which is super clever, by the way, in terms of like, you know, unique content. But when it comes to this, one thing that I would encourage you to just experiment with and see if it, you know, helps or not is picking like one outfit and then adding maybe like the logo of the game. So in this case, you know, it's GTA Online. So adding that to where, you know, it's just clear and prominent, and then putting, you know, maybe the best female outfits underneath that. So like as an example, maybe it would look like this. And then like this panel here would just say, you know, beautiful female outfits in this little area here. And then maybe have like the GTA logo here. And then here, just focus it on just like one like really cool outfit or something like that. Maybe even show if there's like some weird detail, have like a little arrow kind of point to that detail or something like that. I would love for you to try that. And I would love for you to try one, or not one, but just try, you know, a few of these and see how they do. Is also trying to do one to where you're focusing it on like maybe a 3-panel like this and no text at all, either a 2-panel or a 3-panel. And by that, I mean taking the thumbnail, just like you're doing right here. So imagine that your thumbnail was only this area right here. And here, let me see if I can change the color of this to the screen and we'll just do it. Okay. So if we say that like on this thumbnail here, and I hope you guys can see this. I don't know if this is translating or not. Yeah, it is. Okay. So yeah, so like here, if we just cover this up, cover all of this up, then we have that thumbnail down here to where it would just be like a 3-panel like this. And the idea is just to see, right, if people respond to that better, just with a more clear focus. And in addition to the 3-panel and the other version that I gave you before by putting it, you know, there, another thing to try as part of that experiment and all you're doing here is seeing if you can get a higher click-through rate. That's it. And of course, the topic, title, and thumbnail matter. But these are things that I would be experimenting with to see if you can, you know, improve the amount people are clicking on this, because they're clearly enjoying the content based on the views that you're getting. So another thing I would try is doing like a 3-panel like this with like a GTA logo here, so that it, you know, grabs the attention of people into GTA, and or doing a 2-panel with just a GTA logo in the middle. You know, for the GTA, or if it's one of the other games, you know, put that logo there, but you know, you get the idea in terms of just kind of simplifying things a little bit to just see if the people that, you know, are interacting with your content will respond better to it or not. Because when it comes to YouTube, like a lot of the wins on YouTube come from experimentation. And right now, the reason I'm telling you to try experimenting with those is because you've picked a template from jump, from go. With the exception of this one and this one, you've been just riding on this template, right? Which makes sense because, you know, you've had success with this template. But what you want to make sure that you're doing, because like I said, people are clearly enjoying the content. So what you want to try to do is you want to try to just kind of, you know, make these little modifications and see if you can figure out like how can we get people responding even better than they currently are. Because if they're enjoying the video content and you can increase the click-through rate compared to the impressions that you're getting on the content, then what will happen is the videos will start doing even better than they're already doing. So I would just experiment like crazy on like your title structures, on your thumbnail structures, and just see if you can find something that that people will respond to better. And another thing, if you have time, just so you can experiment faster, upload on a regular basis. You are having some like really good momentum here, and this happens all the time on YouTube. So you had great momentum a year ago, 40,000 views here, 8 months ago, 1.3, 1.5, 2.5, started ramping back up. Here you got another 6, 2.1, 6.9, and then you haven't uploaded in 3 months, 2 months actually for this one, and then you drop down to 187. Could be the topic though, you know, could be unrelated, but you drop down to that. And then here you have, you know, you're down to, you know, 321 here on the one that you just uploaded 2 days ago. Now, right out of the gate, I can say this outfit in-game content is working for you. If you have the interest to do it, I would ride that for a while and just like see what you can do to just like fine tune that, feature different characters, break down all the different stuff that they're doing, and just like really dig into that if that's something that you're interested in, because people clearly have a response to that. And I would do like less of this right now, and I would just double down on what's working. So basically just going in and doing the whole outfit breakdowns and all that is definitely something that I would do in your case, for the sake of just like really, you know, getting the ball rolling if that's, you know, something that you're interested in doing. But yeah, so the thumbnail experiment in your case, and also other things is like on some of these ones that underperformed, these also might be videos. Like if you go in and you look at the audience retention reports on these, and keep in mind, you always have to remember the impressions that you're getting on your content, because higher impressions typically drives the numbers down on your content. It'll drive your click-through rate down. It'll drive your audience retention down and all that. So because of that, make sure that you always are looking at how many impressions that you're getting, before you make a decision. But if you go in and you look at your audience retention reports on this, and you've gotten a decent amount of impressions, if you find that this thumbnail isn't performing as well, or this packaging isn't performing as well compared to some of these videos that have done better, then go in and mess with them and see if you can, get it to do better. And by mess with them, I mean like update the thumbnail, update the titles, see if that makes a difference. And another thing is, in this particular one, because of just all the crazy things people are talking about on the internet right now, I would also experiment with taking the word military. It probably won't matter, but I'd experiment also, if you do rewrite this title, with taking out the word military out of your title and description for this piece of content as well. Just for the sake of, just trying to make sure that everything that you're not creating any types of like roadblocks for yourself based on, any type of like sensitive content. Let's see here. So yeah, so hopefully that helps. We spent some decent time here on this channel, so I'm going to go on to another one. But hopefully, that helps in some way. But you're off to the races. Like you have a fantastic start on what it is that you're doing. So Square Table Degenerate says, don't even look at CTR. It's a horrible metric. It's not. It's actually one of the most important metrics that are, that you can look at on your YouTube channel, because it's in, like, if you can't get people to click on what it is that you're doing, then it doesn't matter how good your video is, because nobody will be watching it. But if you learn how to get people to click, and you learn that through studying your click-through rate based on the impressions that you're getting, and you look at it, at the different traffic sources, if you can, figure that side of things out, then in that case, if you're also making good content, then your videos are going to end up doing like great over time. But if you are like, hey, I'm not even going to like look at it, then in that case, you're actually working against yourself, because, YouTube is giving us the information. You just have to look at that information and then, take action based on the information that you're seeing. So the next channel that we are going to look at here is, we are going to do, we're going to do Tube Spanner 99 for this one. I should have done 30, right? Because we crossed 30,000. Hey, my pleasure, JillyBeany. If you have any questions about any of that, if you need any more like clarity or whatever, just shoot me a DM on Twitter. Fair enough, but don't obsess over it. Don't chase the CTR, chase views and subs. Right, but if you don't, you should obsess over it, because like if you're chasing views, you're not going to get views unless people are clicking on your content, right? So like when it comes to chasing like views and subscribers, technically you should be chasing like views and watch time. But if you are trying to, just perform as good as you possibly can on YouTube, then in that case, your CTR is extremely important, and it can make a huge difference. I have some information I would love to share right now based around that, but I just can't, due to contractual agreements, in terms of how important that is. So let's see here. So next up, while we're waiting for this, we're at like 63 entries. And by the way, if you're just joining us, this is all free thanks to Tube Spanner. I got a link to Tube Spanner down in the description. It's a YouTube tool that helps you in all kinds of different ways. In order to participate here, it's 100% free. You don't have to super chat, anything like that. All you got to do is put in that hashtag, and then what the system that I have on screen here, this is StreamYard's giveaway tool. And basically with this, once I hit that draw button, then it's just going to randomly select somebody that put in the hashtag. And by the way, if anybody wants to use this giveaway tool, I'm just going to put a link to it here in the description, just so you can see it. It's a StreamYard feature right here. It's pretty awesome. So if you do any type of live streams and you want to do giveaways and stuff, it's a really cool tool. As you can see, right here. I would love for them. I'm actually never thought about it until right now, but I'd love for them to be able to like let us add like branding and stuff like that to these for like our personal accounts. That would be cool. All right, here we go. We got Christo, Verity. So here we go, Christo. Let me pull up your YouTube channel here, see what you got. And if you're enjoying the stream, make sure you give this a thumbs up, everybody, if you haven't yet. All right. So let's see here. So for this one, we got Christo up here. So you're doing like travel content, I'm guessing from the screenshot. Let me refresh this. There we go. So let's see here. Yeah, it looks like maybe you're doing travel content. I like to make videos. Okay, this is in another language. I can't understand this. So I'm not going to be able to really help with your titles because I don't understand the language. But one thing just to mention, if you are going to be optimizing your titles in this language, I would also make all of the other text that you have on your channel in that language as well. Like your About Me page, instead of I like to make videos, what you want to do is like, if you're like, I'm thinking that you're doing like travel content is my, my guess of what it is that you're doing here. So if you're doing travel content or like vlog style content, then in that case, I would put, Christo Verity travels the world and shares blah, 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 or like whatever it is that you're offering. But basically you want to fill out like a whole paragraph there. And the reason that you want to do that is like if people are looking for you or your type of content, things like that, this area right here can actually help you show up in like YouTube search as well for the channel. So because of that, I would definitely fill this out. And it also gives viewers context for the people that go there in terms of like what it is that you offer and things like that. I would also, like once you do that, you have a 75 character limit here to where you can kind of rewrite this and just make sure that that first 75 characters is a value proposition so that you can add it right there to let viewers know what it is that they're going to be getting from your YouTube channel. Yeah, for these, I can't really help with these because I don't understand the language. But one thing I can tell you without even having to know the language is that you're also doing that same thing that the other person was doing with the categorical playlists. You want to actually make those titles essentially. So when you are, breaking your content down this way, like let's say like if that was like vlogs and this was like beaches or something like that. And again, I don't understand, so I'm not sure, but like what you want to do is you actually want to turn those into titles because they give you, additional, it gives the viewer additional context to what it is that's in that playlist. Technically, you should also be adding descriptions to your playlist as well, because that is another optimization thing to where it helps with the viewers, but also playlists show up in different places around YouTube. So they can show up next to other videos. They can show up in YouTube search. And if you're not optimizing for any of that, then you could possibly be missing that opportunity to get your videos to show up there, your playlist to show up there. So I would definitely make sure that you're doing that. What can I look at here without knowing the language? Okay, so here's this. So on the community posts, you are currently not using that. This is a missed opportunity right here. So the community posts on YouTube, this is a fantastic way to pull people back into your YouTube channel. And also community posts get shown to people that are not subscribed as well. So this is also a way to, just pull people into your content in general. So you want to make sure that you're using your community posts on a regular basis. If you want to know like all the benefits and all that stuff, there's a video here on the Tube Spanner channel about, playlists and, all the different settings in the playlist and all that. So you can like get the nuance and all of the advanced details of the playlist I've got one on playlist and I've got one on the community feed. But watch the community feed one. That's the one I'm trying to get you to. But watch the one on the community feed. It just shares, in terms of like, as an example, like if you share a video here, which is something that you should do on a regular basis, then a lot of people will look at this and they will say, oh yeah, thanks for the heads up there on making the page bigger, Ross. So here on your community feed, like when you share a video here, it's going to look like it has like the least engagement compared to all of the other things that you'll end up sharing here over time. Like if you do a post, those or like a poll, those typically get more engagement. Image posts, they get engagement if you ask questions around them. Like for example, would you rather go to this beach or this beach? And then, there they can answer in the comments, which one. Would you rather go to this beach or this beach and why? And then they would answer in the comments. With a poll, do you like this place, or this place better, right? And then you just put those options and they're just easy things that people can engage with. So you'll see the engagement there on the community tab, but what you also want to do is share videos and playlists of videos in your community feed. And the reason for that is because if this shows up on a homepage, it entices somebody to click on it, they come in, then they start, engaging in your channel, which is a win. So this is just a way to pull people in. And then you also want to look at the stats on the video that you shared, not in the community feed, because it's going to look like it underperforms in the feed. But in reality, if you go and you look at the stats on the video itself, then you'll see that, that the, community feed, helped bring you some additional views there. So because of the language, unfortunately, I can't really like go too deep on yours. So, you know, I apologize for that, but here, let me just do some quick, another quick check here since I saw your About Me page. Yeah, this is another one. I would also fill out your descriptions here more as well. YouTube recommends like a paragraph or two. So I would at least put like a short paragraph here for those. You are linking to other videos, it looks like, in your, you know, in your description, which is a win. It looks like you're linking to other channels here. So just make sure that the channels that you are linking to are channels that are, oh, okay, so you're doing like, oh, okay, nice. Yeah, so you want to make sure that you're linking to channels that are relevant. And you should know this, like if you're doing, you know, that type of channel teaching others. But like you only want to make sure that you're linking to channels that are relevant to your channel. Because what happens is people will go over there to support you, but you'll end up creating like a dead audience if the audience isn't a perfect match for, you know, from this channel to that other channel. Okay, so let's see here. So next up on our list here, I wish I could do more for you there, Christo, but you know, because of the language thing, it makes it, you know, a little bit challenging. So if you're just joining us here, the way that you get the review is you just do the hashtag that I'm going to be showing on the screen right here in a second. You just drop it in the chat, and depending on whatever this tool that I'm using decides to pull, or whichever channel it pulls, that's the one that we are, you know, pulling up on, that we're pulling up on screen. And I did the 30. Some of you were already ahead on that one. You're like, yeah, I know what he's doing. But I put the K on there just to throw you off.
If you're enjoying the show, remember to give it a thumbs up and share it with a friend right now.
So Milra says, how did y'all think of your name? She actually came up with the name. Yeah, this is her tool. So she actually came up with the name for this. I'm not sure what inspired it. Okay, so we're up to 54 here, waiting for those. Circle H Scuba says, how's the toe after last time? Way better, but it hurt like all night. Yeah, so for a quick thing on that story. So I had a green screen here last week. As you notice, if you watched my news segment, you'll notice that I didn't have the green screen for that one because I was like, hey, I'm hopping on here right after that one, so I don't want to do that again. But basically, I have an Elgato green screen. So basically, it pulls up. And before I do my news on Fridays, I'll pull it out and then I'll lay it down and then I pull it up. And since I was hopping directly from the news over to this channel, what I did is as soon as the news was done, I just reached back and then I just collapsed it and then I just left it sitting there. And I jumped off the chair and I went over to, you know, grab something out of the cabinet. I think I was looking for like a mug to compare this one. And I hit my toe on it because it's normally not there, and just cranked my toe. It was horrible. Viral boom, my pleasure. Yeah, I love doing this. So it's all good. Oh, Ross Name says that was my fault for asking about a mug. Sorry. Hey, no sweat. No worries. No worries at all. It's my fault for not, you know, being mindful of my surroundings. All right, here we go. So the next channel that we are looking at here is Annie Tro. Viral boom. I thought it was going to be you. Let's see here. So like it slowed down there and I was like, oh yeah, Viral boom's getting this one, but it continued on. You were one away. All right. Let's see here. So I'm going to pull this up on screen here. Give me 1 second to find it here. Okay, nice. So let's pull this up. Move this out of the way and we'll make this big. Okay. So here for Annie's channel, right out of the gate. Let's see what she does here. Annie Tro, artist, live every Wednesday and new videos every week. So this is cool. Shares information about what it is that you're doing. Love all the art imagery and stuff. But I'm not sure if you're like teaching people art or if you're just doing paintings and just kind of letting people participate or what it is that you're doing. Having just a little bit more clarity here would definitely be a win there. Hold on, I share art and painting tips, traceables available, come work with me. And okay, you've got it here. You have what it is that you need here right here. So nothing needs to change up here. So you have all the information that you need right here. That's going to show up on desktop and mobile. Doing great there. Next thing I'm going to look at really quick is, are you selling stuff? I see that you're doing PayPal here for the thank you stuff. You're doing merch. What is it here? You're doing another shop and you're doing Patreon. Okay. So let me see here. Thank you for support. $PDF. Okay. So this right here is a way that you can make money, which is great. So just as a heads up, I know that there's a character limit here as well, and I'm not sure exactly what that character limit is, but I would try putting click for single traceables or get single traceables here or something like that if it fits. If it doesn't fit, then this is okay. But I would definitely consider just making that a little bit more of a call to action instead of it just being informative. Just those types of things will typically cause people to click on them more. Let's see here. Another thing as well is right here, how you have this stream that you did 8 days ago. Remember that the videos that are here in this spot, like you can decide the videos that show up here. So if you are, 41 minutes ago. Okay. So you're uploading video content as well. So when you're putting a piece of content here, a couple different things that you can do. The very first, of course, is you can do what's happening here to where, you just have a video that's being suggested here. Or you can say, okay, if I'm trying to, you can make this goal-based where it's like, okay, if I'm trying to generate more subscribers, then I'm going to go through my video archive and I'm going to find the videos that typically have the highest view to subscriber conversion. And I'm going to put that here for non-subscribers. And then for the trailer that shows for people that are subscribed, in that particular case, because they're already subscribed to my channel, they're already into the content, I'm going to use that one to share information about my single traceables and all the other things that I have available. And I'm going to use the spot for that. So that can be helpful there. If you are, for everybody else here, just as a tip for you, like if you're a new content creator and you're trying to get more watch time on your channel so you can get into the partner program, this is where you go through your content and you find, again, this whole area, you can just use it based around your goals. So you can go find the content in your channel that typically drives the most watch time. When viewers are interacting with your content, you can put that here, right? You just dig in through your content, you find the content that either generates the most subscribers, generates the most revenue through the things that you promote through it, or generates the most watch time. And then you just feature that video there while you're working on that particular thing. So I would definitely do that. Next, as we scroll down. But the reason I'm telling you that in your case is because you're selling stuff. So you're definitely missing opportunities there if you don't have that in the subscribe spot. Next, instead of driving people into your streams, I would drive people into your video content. So instead of having this one here and this one up here, I would just move this one up here, just kind of swap them back and forth. Since your live streams are a bit long, kind of like the ones that I do, you are asking for a substantial commitment for new viewers. So because of that, I would just feature, your video content there because that's the content. It's quicker, so they can just get to know you, get to know your personality, get to know how you, explain things, all that. They get to know that side of you through your video content. Let's see here. Just a best practice thing. This isn't going to make a difference. This is just to make it easier for people to find the content that they care about the most. You can also add descriptions to your playlist as well. I have a video here on the Tube Spanner channel talking specifically about playlists and how to add descriptions and how to, get into the advanced settings of your playlists. So you can watch that video to show you how to do it, but adding a description here, it just adds a little bit more context to all the content that's available there. Also, if you want to feature upcoming live streams, I would definitely get those up here. So, so basically prioritizing your videos first, and then underneath that, having upcoming live streams. If you are just doing them like a day out, then in that case, having the upcoming live streams up here is fine, or in that first spot. But if you are, dating them out, like a week ahead of time and stuff like that, then just putting it underneath your videos is the idea. So then that way you're spreading the awareness in terms of this live stream's coming up at a higher spot, so more people are going to see it, but you're still prioritizing your most recent video content to get people into that. Multiple playlists, all this is good. So just as a heads up, instead of having multiple playlists, you can also create a playlist of playlists. And in that playlist of playlists, you can also customize the language here. So instead of it saying like multiple playlists, it can say something like, playlists that you'll enjoy, or, art playlist you'll enjoy, something like that. To where you can just kind of customize that a little bit to make it a little bit more, more you and your personality and all of that. Let's see here. So next up, just going to do a quick look here. Art painting tips, traceable, available. With me, so it's full-time artist. Love connecting with you. Feel good at art channel. Hugs, want to support the channel. Links below. Thank you. Yeah, even with this, I'd fill out, a little bit more here because this is something that adds context. And instead of having here, I would put, Annie Tro shares art and painting tips. And the reason for that, I mean, you've got 9,000 subscribers, so you're going to pop up anyway. So you actually don't even need to do that. Don't worry about it. This is fine. But the thing that I was going to say is, this does, help your channel actually show up in search. So because of that, having your actual name in here somewhere, you're like, hey, you got to be careful because you don't want to mess this blurb up here. So, so having, the area for this blurb and then maybe, doing a line break and then putting, hey, I'm Annie Tro. I do, I share, kind of repeating this. I share art and painting tips to help you, blah, blah, blah. I have traceables that you can get through my store that I have linked down below, that kind of stuff. Because you mentioned that here, but, just kind of sharing that information is definitely a win. Also, keep in mind, a lot of people don't know this, and I found this out in our channel member streams on my main channel. A lot of people don't know that this is clickable. So as you can see, if I tap on this right here, at least it is on mobile. Let's see if it is here. Okay, so it's not on a desktop, but if you visit that on a mobile device, it's clickable. So you can see, like in mine right here, here, hold on, I'll just show you on the screen really quick for everyone. And then we're gonna come right back to your channel, Annie. But like if you go to my channel page on my main channel and you look at this area right up here at the top, what I can do, let's see if I can do this kind of through the camera, is I can click on that. And when I click on it, it takes me to the About Me page. So since you have stuff to sell, what you can do is on this blurb right here is you can have, like, I share art painting tips, traceables available, or, for traceables you can use, or however you want to sell it, click here. And even though it makes it look a little bit clunky for desktop users when they're on your About Me page, it makes it more efficient for mobile users. So in terms of, like click here, oh, I didn't even know I could click that, bam, and then it takes them. Here's why it's important if you're selling something, is because if we look at this page right here, if we look at this page right here on your mobile phone, a main channel page on YouTube, anybody's channel page, it's the same. You do not have header links here. You don't have the links in your channel art where people can see the links to go buy your stuff. This counts for your merch. This counts for your website. Anything else that you have in your channel art, people don't see it on a mobile device. So what they have to do in order to see those links is they have to go to your About Me page. Come on, there we go. They have to go to your About Me page. So when I click that and they go to the About Me page, you can see that down at the very bottom, those links down there, they're a different color and they draw attention. So what happens is, as long as you don't fill this information in too much to where it pushes those links down, then you have that call to action to get people to click to go to your About Me page, and then your links are going to be visible for mobile viewers. The reason that this is important is, for those of you that are trying to make money from YouTube, is it makes your links visible to people, right, on a mobile device. And mobile devices on YouTube are the most viewed device. So more people are viewing your content, or not all, this doesn't apply to everybody, but more people are interacting with YouTube on a mobile device than any other device. So because of that, you want to make sure that you do have that flow set up so that you're spreading awareness about those things that you're trying to sell or bring attention to. So let's keep going. So let's see here. So let's go to your community tab. Let's see here, 6 days ago, new playlist for flowers, best enjoy. Fantastic. Linking to the playlist. This is great. Hey friends, free wallpaper. A little thank you for your support. Fantastic. Driving people to your vlog or your blog, driving people into content. Yeah, this is great. Okay. So yeah, this is all good. Keep in mind, you can schedule community posts. So if you are a creator that uploads on specific days of the week and you know exactly when your content's going to drop, you can schedule community posts around it so that you're always putting out content that your audience is engaging in. So, you can just sit down and in an hour, and you can say, okay, I'm going to fill this all out for the month. And then that way, I constantly have, content going out every single day on my channel through my community post. So that way, my audience can interact. So ask them questions. questions that will help you better understand them. So like, for example, in your particular case, asking like if they are painters or if they just watch the content to enjoy the process, asking them the specific mediums of paint they use, asking them questions around anything they want you to, paint, that kind of stuff. It just gets you into the nuance of your audience and what it is that they care about. And then you can also get into all kinds of fun stuff. Like, do you typically watch my videos in the morning or the afternoon? And you can see this in like your YouTube analytics, but just asking those questions, you'll have, a lot of people in there, just giving you all kinds of just basic information as well that you can also use to make different decisions around your YouTube channel and or to know your audience better. Even little things. What kind of music do you typically listen to? Or, out of these 4 options or these 3 options, which is your favorite type of music? And then as they select those, then that can kind of help get you an idea of, the right type of music to be used in your videos and things like that as well, if you are somebody that uses music in your content. So, those types of, questions, and you can be creative on this. You're an artist, you're a creative person. So, you'll be able to dig into your creativity for this. But by asking those types of questions, then it helps you better understand the nuance of your community and the people that are interacting with your content, which in the long game of YouTube, that'll help you serve them a lot better, long term. So let's look at I wonder if you're doing shorts. Yeah, you are. So I would definitely, if you have the bandwidth for it or the time for it, I would definitely do more shorts, especially right now, because this opportunity is fading fast. So, they had like an 80% increase from when did they put that out? They put it out in March. So the year prior, they had an 80% increase in the amount of people uploading daily shorts to YouTube. So the competition is getting more and more fierce. You're starting to see more people complaining about how their shorts aren't performing like they used to and things like that, because just the amount of competition is growing rapidly. So anybody that's interested in using shorts, you want to make sure that you're getting into this like now, because that opportunity is fading fast in terms of being able to get your content in front of a lot more people. And when it comes to YouTube shorts, some people like them, some people don't, but you definitely want to experiment with them. Like in your case, you got an extra, 1.7 thousand views on this to your channel because you uploaded this short. So just anything that you can think of related to shorts that would be a good fit for your audience is definitely something to consider, and your potential audience. And the reason you want to think about that is because your shorts will be in front of people that might not have clicked on your content, or that YouTube might not have even recommended your long form content to. So it gives you the opportunity to get in front of like a whole different group of people that can get to know you and like you through your shorts, that can ultimately end up leading them into your long form content as well, or they can just enjoy your shorts content. So then it just kind of opens up a whole other arm of, what it is that you're doing and how people can interact with your channel. Let's see here. So let's look at the content. Okay. Spring Bunny, fun 4x4 painting. Okay. So here's another one to where when it comes to your thumbnails. So one thing I would recommend is like here you can see that the rabbit is emphasized. You are emphasized in terms of just the size here, and you're an artist, so you understand, this idea. And then the word Spring Bunny is big, but the thing that is the most important about it being like a painting, that's one of the smallest things in the thumbnail. So, of course, an artist is going to see this and hopefully they'll, understand that this has something to do with art. But you want to keep in mind that, somebody that's interested in watching this type of content, they're also getting recommended a bunch of other content like this. So you want to make sure that your thumbnails are just super clear, and that they are easily able to grab the attention of an artist. So the theme that you're doing here with like the paintbrush and with this, it's clever. And, I like how you're even toning some of the colors and stuff like that based on the art that you're doing. Like this is clever on the side of branding. However, this didn't like jump out at me, right? So like in order for this to like really be the most effective, it would need to jump out more. To where it's like, oh, this is a paintbrush. This is, what's going on, here with the paint actually happening, in this thumbnail. So I like the idea that you're messing around with branding right now, and that you're, getting all that stuff dialed in. But what I recommend that you experiment with right now for your next handful of videos is being effective in terms of getting people to click on your content is way more important than branding. Branding has its place and branding is important as well. But first, you got to figure out what gets your audience to respond to what it is that you're doing. And the way that you do that is just by, a bunch of experimentation. So one thing that I would try, or actually a few different things that I would try in your case is maybe have like, like you're painting, and then maybe have like, if you have, I can't remember what it's called, but it's like the little palette that you kind of put all your paints on, having something like that over here. So then that imagery suggests, and not even having you in it, or words at all. So then what happens there is the imagery suggests, hey, this is a rabbit that looks like it's been, painted in some way. And then you have like the thing over here that you have like colors in it. And then by doing that, or, if it's just, if you have like your thing that you put your painting on and you kind of mix it around, whatever, anything like that another painter would instantly recognize on the homepage of YouTube, that's what you want to put there. And I would just experiment with that and see if it increases your click-through rate. And you always want to look at the impressions that you're getting when it comes to your click-through rate, because more impressions will typically drive it down. Lower impressions will typically inflate the click-through rate where it actually looks better than it should be. So because of that, I would just start experimenting with your thumbnails and see if you can find something that will help artists more easily recognize your content. Because the whole idea with the thumb is it's there to capture someone's attention and help them identify that it's about something that they care about. This can be done through the specific imagery that you're using, which is why I'm saying like, the art's on one side and then you have like the palette on the other. This can also be like a stylistic thing. So people that are into entertainment content, like if you see a thumbnail on YouTube and it looks like Mr. Beast, but it's not him, it still gives a good indication that it's probably something similar, right? So then stylistically, it helps people identify that it's that type of content, right? So, doing those types of things, and just doing a bunch of experimentation on your thumbnails to where it's like, okay, let me try what Nick said here with painting on one side and then the palette on the other. Let me try another one with the palette on this side and the painting on the other. Let me try one where I'm like bigger over here. So then like, like I'm the person, but then let's say I'm holding a palette. And then, like that palette's like coming out over here somewhere to where they can clearly see that it's something, art related. And then you have the art over here. But keep in mind, you want to make sure that if you do something like that, that you are large and that the palette that you're using here is also large. And the reason for that is if I just click into one of these videos, is because if you look at the videos over here on this side, you can see how small everything is, right? So since all of this is so small, then what happens is it ends up getting you into like a spot to where it's like, okay, well, if the palette, even though I have it on there, if it's too small, then people aren't going to be able to see it and suggest it. They're not going to be able to get that clarity and suggested. So then it might hurt your ability to pull traffic from suggested as well. So, when you are doing those types of things, just make sure that everything you're doing is like large and prominent. And since you're an artist, you also understand the idea of like a clear focus, right? Like I want them to focus on this first, and then as like a secondary, once that grabs their attention, then they can look over here at this, right? And then from there, those two things, and then I want them to go down to the title and start kind of crafting your thumbnails in that way. And that should, through that experimentation, you should be able to, increase the amount of people clicking on what it is that you're doing. I'm just doing a quick scroll to see if you've already done what I just mentioned here. Almost. This one's almost there. Okay. Let's see here. Fun spring bunny painting 4x4 ornament by Annie Tro. So the by Annie Tro, you don't have to do that in your titles. That particular part isn't really going to matter over time, and it's probably happening already because you already have a decent amount of subscribers on your channel. Like YouTube already knows that you're making these videos and all that. So somebody who's actually searching for it, then you'll end up coming up anyway, I would guess. So I wouldn't even worry about adding the by Annie Tro part to your videos. That's not, that's not really that important. I mean, the idea of doing stuff like that is the people that are already interested in your content, same with like using our pictures, right, in the thumbnails, is the people that already know you and know your content and like what it is that you do. It helps them identify what it is that you're doing, or it helps them identify that it's you so they can click on it and come in. But if you're already putting yourself like in the thumbnail and, like maybe through the different styles that you're going to experiment with, if you do find a template that ends up working, people will over time start to be able to recognize that, to where either way it goes, you're not going to need to put this down here. So I wouldn't even worry about having that in here. And I would just focus this on like readability and making sure that it expresses what they're going to get out of the video. Another thing to experiment with here as well, or just to think about, is I'm not sure if you're teaching people or if you're just like, hey, I'm painting and you can just watch me paint. If you're teaching people, then in that case, I would do, paint a, fun spring bunny, step by step. Here, rooster painting, how to create a different, a different look, same color palette. So here you're on the right track. But what you want to do with your titles is you want to make it like a clear statement. And then after that statement, if you want to put something at the end, you can. So structurally, when it comes to your title, I would actually move the how to create different look, same color palette. I'd actually work on that a little bit, because if you say it out loud, it doesn't like flow that great. But I would move that over to the front, and then I would do like a bar, like a horizontal bar like this, or vertical bar like this. And then I would put, rooster painting at the end of that if you wanted to. But they're going to see right here that it's a rooster painting. So, how to create different look, same color palette, or how to create, how to create a different look with the same color palette, maybe. Maybe that's what that needs. And if you take this out, then that'll give you enough space to be able to do that. Same with this. But if you want to keep the rooster painting in there, I would just move it to the end. And title structures matter. Like, they make a big difference. Because, as an English speaker, we read from left to right. So you want to be able to get them to the information that's the most important to them as fast as possible. And you want to make sure that your titles aren't too cluttered, because, like our brains, especially when it comes to like a homepage of YouTube, or we're going through like a mobile scroll, like our brains are just like looking for things that stand out to us. So you want to make sure that that's not being covered up, or that there's not, distracting things happening that could pull people away from that, that message that's going to actually connect with them and get them to come into your content. So I would just think about that when you're structuring your titles. And a quick exercise for this that everybody here can use is when you're putting your thumbnails and titles together, for every single video, write this down. If you're taking notes, write this down. Is when you're putting your thumbnails and titles together, think to yourself, if the person that I'm trying to reach with my content, or the people that I'm trying to reach with my content, if they were to log on to YouTube right now and my content were to show up on their homepage, what about this thumbnail and what about this title would help them identify that it's something that they're interested in? And how clear is it? Like, is there a clear focus on what it is that, is going to help them identify it? And what is it exactly that's going to help them identify it? And if you can't define that, keep working on it until you can. Okay, the people I'm trying to reach that are artists that are into it, this is going to help them identify that it's something like art related. So then hopefully they'll look at the title. And then once you go to the title, then thinking to yourself, okay, is this clear? Is it easy to read? Is it simple enough? Same exact thing with your thumbnail. Is it like, too cluttered? Is it simple enough? If it's showing on the homepage and it's against all this other content, how easy is it going to be for people to, kind of zone in or hone in on this and see the things that they need to see without all the other elements of my thumbnail and or title being, distracting from that thing that I want them to focus on. And then when it comes to the structure of your title, how do I get the thing that's going to be the most important to the viewer as close to the front of the title as possible? And how can I make my title as compelling as possible? And when you start running through that exercise, then the same exact thing applies to where it's like, okay, if I can't define it in terms of like, okay, with this thumbnail and title, what about this is going to get somebody to stop and grab their attention that I'm trying to reach, stop and grab their attention, and then compel them to click on this. And then you just want to run that through your brain for every thumbnail and title that you put together. And you want to start defining this right here. I'm using this image because this image is going to help people know this. I'm using this title in this way because I want them to see this first. And then I want them to be compelled by this particular part of it. Right. And then you just start running through that exercise. And just by doing that by itself, it'll help you increase the amount of people clicking on your content, because then you're being intentional about what it is that you're doing instead of just kind of putting things together and then putting them out there and like hoping people will click on them. Right. So that's for everybody here. Like, we all need to do that with everything, everything that we publish. Let's see here. So as we go. Oh, this is great. So the Fitness Hutch says, if they were to log onto YouTube right now, the only videos they would see are people who already have 10,000 subs. They never push a 500 sub channel, never. That's incorrect. We just looked at a channel earlier that like their first video they had, right now, they didn't even have 1,000 subscribers on their channel. Their very first video got, I think on that channel, it was like 16,000 views. The one right after that got 40,000 views on it. Like what you are saying is just typical, like, you know, like when people are, you know, getting started, they typically will hang out in like new YouTuber, like, you know, communities and stuff, and misinformation in terms of somebody that doesn't know how everything works, telling other people that don't know how it works things that aren't, you know, real. And then those people that also don't know, they take that information as like, oh, well, this person here said this, so yeah, I bet it's right, and that's probably why I'm not getting views. But in reality, YouTube shows your content to people. And you can prove this. Like, if all you have to do, if you want to see if YouTube is showing your content to people, the Fitness Hutch, all you have to do, go into your YouTube analytics. And then inside of your YouTube analytics, you can look at this at the channel level, or you can look at this at the individual video level. But what you want to do is you want to go into your analytics, and then you want to look at impressions. An impression is when YouTube is showing your content to somebody on YouTube. So if you have impressions, but you don't have views, that means that YouTube has tried. YouTube has shown your videos to people, but you weren't able to get them to click. And if you see that, you know, if you see that you're not getting impressions, then in that case, that means you need to like tweet at Team YouTube and say, hey, something's going on. I have like 0 impressions on all of my videos, but you're not going to find that. What you're going to find is you're going to go in there and you're going to see that you have some impressions, but the impressions that you got, people just didn't, you know, they just didn't click on it. And that comes down to you, right? Like as a content creator, we have to take the responsibility for how people respond to our content. We have to set our own threshold levels of what it is that is acceptable for us and what it is, you know, the goals we're trying to reach and all that stuff. And like, if we're not hitting that mark, like it falls back on us. Right. So, so because of that, just, you know, just keep that in mind. And I'm not like coming down on you in any way, shape, or form. Like, you know, I'm just saying that like what you're saying, like I've been making videos like this for, you know, like 8 years now. Like this, I would say like, you know, maybe 6.5, but like the thing that you're saying is super common with people that are, you know, just getting started on YouTube, where they think that you have to have a big channel in order for YouTube to show your content to people. But the big, humongous elephant in the room that they're missing when they're thinking that way is, if that was true, then how in the world would channels get big on YouTube? They would be impossible, because if YouTube doesn't show content to people that are not, you know, that don't have more than, I think you said 500 subscribers, then in that case, what would happen is nobody would ever grow on YouTube. But, you know, channels are growing on YouTube every single day. There's people publishing videos right now, and it's their very first video. Some people are getting tens of thousands of views on those very first videos within like a 24-hour period. Other people are getting 0. But it all comes down to their ability to get people to click on what it is that they're doing. Yeah, so Annie says that she had a much smaller channel and YouTube pushed out a video, and still is, with 125,000 views on it. So yeah, I just wanted to share that, you know, awareness. Again, you know, if you're, you know, like a new content creator, like don't take that as like an attack, because it's not. I'm just trying to, you know, kind of open you up there in terms of, you know, like the realities of how things actually work on YouTube. All right, let's pull up another channel. So let's see here. So next up on our list, hopefully that was helpful for you, Annie. If you have any questions about any of that, just, you know, shoot me a DM on Twitter, and I can add any clarity to anything that I mentioned there. So the next one that we have here is for, boom. So here's our next hashtag, TubeSpanner83. Cloudy View says the growth I've experienced on YouTube is like nothing I've ever seen. It's amazing. Nice. Love it. Love it. Yeah, that's a really good point. Square Table Degenerate says a big thing too is that people have so many topics on their channel, and I get it, because you don't want to be bored. But if you're not niched down in some way, it can take a long time. Plus, you know, there's also, you know, the idea of like, you know, some people, like if you've never made, you know, content for other people, or you've never, you know, written things that you need other people to respond to, you know, without thinking about it, then if you've never done that before, it's just, one of those skills that you just have to develop over time through learning how to do it, just like anything else. Like if you start playing a sport, you got to learn the rules of the game. You got to get yourself into some type of, physical condition to be able to play the game. And then you have to like show up, you have to practice, you have to learn how to actually physically play in addition to knowing the rules of the game and all the theoretical stuff of how to play. Like you have to hit the court, you gotta, you have to hit the court and just, and just play and practice in order to, like really get good at it. YouTube is no different than anything else like that you're going to learn. Just like playing an instrument, playing a sport, starting a business, anything like that. Like it's all, it's all, similar. All right, here we go. So next up, how we got here, genealogy. Nice. Okay, love it. Okay, so let's see here. Let's pull up Brian's channel. And let's see what we got. Right. Okay, so oops. Go back here. There we go. Okay, so right here, want to know how to find your family's history and how it relates to, and then you can see it got blocked off. So this is for you also, just this area right here, because this is newer to, let me make this bigger. This is newer to like a desktop view. It's been on mobile for a long time, but I would definitely, just do a quick adjustment on this to make sure that your value proposition fits into this area right here. You have 75 characters to work with. So, I would just do that when you get the opportunity. Hold on, start your family tree here. Good. Please subscribe. Here's why. This is going to sound crazy, but like the nuance of please subscribe, here's why. It almost comes across like, like please subscribe to the channel. Like I would change it to like, here's why you should subscribe to my YouTube channel or to this YouTube channel or something like that. Just to make it a little bit more of like a, it's kind of like a confidence thing of like, here's why you should, instead of like, please subscribe. It just kind of feels a little bit different. I mean, it's not a huge deal, but it just feels a little bit different. And also, since this is a video that you've made specifically for people to subscribe to the channel, for desktop users, mobile users aren't going to see this, but I would also add that that button here as well for people to be able to click on it, and then it works just like the subscribe button. Again, I'm going to put that in the chat here just in case you don't have it already. You put that at the end. Oops, sorry, I spelled it wrong. Give me 1 second. Sub confirmation equals 1. You put that, I just dropped it in the chat. You put that at the end of your channel URL, and this will make it to where if somebody clicks on that text link, that it'll work just like if somebody hits the subscribe button up here. So then that way for desktop users, you kind of have the whole package here. So then it's like, please subscribe. Here's why, if you decide to keep that. And then you have, some information about the channel, and then you have that call to action to subscribe, click this link to subscribe, and then it'll function exactly like the subscribe button. So then you can capture them like right there where they're at. So if they have like a small monitor or something, it just ensures that they don't have to kind of scroll around to get back up to the subscribe button. Okay, videos, finding meaning in the history of your ancestors. Man, I like these. I like the views that you're getting right now. That's great. These are a little low, but yeah, I like these newer ones. So first off, I would definitely look at these, and I would try to learn from these. Like I would compare like your click-through rate on these compared to what it is that you are doing on these that got a better view. In fact, I would go in and I would compare stats all the way around on these. So if you go into advanced analytics, and if you need help with this, let me know, because you're a channel member on my channel and I know you. So like if you have, what was I gonna say? Oh yeah, go into the compare feature in your YouTube analytics and drop one of these videos in there, and then drop like one of these videos in here, or just do each of them. And you're going to start looking at both of them, and you'll be able to see like why one did better than the other. But look into traffic sources reports, and that's going to show you like your click-through rate on all the different surfaces of YouTube, all the different pages of YouTube. See if like one's getting more suggested traffic, or if one gets more homepage traffic, or if maybe, they're coming in from search or something like that. It's kind of helps you better understand why one piece of content performs better than the other. So I would definitely do that, just to help you better understand kind of what's going on there. Genealogy resources, genetic genealogy. So how you've recently changed some of this stuff to family tree and family history, if you are going to, keep, walking down that road. Another thing that I would do is I would update some of these as well, like resources to help you find your, or to help you with your family history or family history resources, something like that. This is okay. But if you are going to continue down that road, then I would just kind of update some of this so that everything kind of syncs up in terms of the language that you're using, for the content. Your thumbnails, I think these definitely could use some work. So here, like why you should start your family tree, and then here why you should be creating a family tree, which basically says the same thing, as this one does right here. So I would use this in a different way, and I would try to make the words on here, like if you're going to put text on your thumbnail, like make it big and easy to read. Big, bold, easy to read is the idea. And by doing that, oops, let me take this down really quick. There we go. And then by making the text like big, bold, and easy to read, it just stands out better, right? Like you can even see that right here, like your family tree, right? On this next thumbnail, if that's small, that's still pretty easy to read. Like it's white, so you could use like a little bit of a drop shadow or something underneath that to kind of help it stand out a little bit, but it's still like big and bold, so it kind of stands out compared to this, which is a lot more difficult to read. I would also simplify or limit, I should say, the amount of words that you're using in the thumbnail. So instead of, having getting started, why you should be creating a family tree, I would just say something like, family tree 101, or, family tree first steps, or something like that. So then you're just kind of simplifying the message and making it easier to, kind of comprehend what that might be about. And it's also just less that people have to process. When it comes to the words that this is a year ago, so I'm not going to spend too much time on this suggestion because I'm sure you've learned a lot since then. But like right here, you can see on this one, and I would change this one immediately. And I'm going to zoom in on this just so everybody can see this a little bit. That's a little bit too much. So everybody can see this a little bit more clearly. But like this thumbnail right here with the which cousin are you? That's really hard to read. Even at this size, this is hard to read. Red text like this is typically hard to read anyway. So one thing that I would do is I would swap this thumbnail out immediately. And I would also just, if you are going to put text on it, I would just try focusing on either the imagery, or if you do feel that you need to put the text on there, I would just make sure it stands out. Like these that you did like 2 months ago, like this one, is a much better representation of the text standing out, and a much better demonstration of, like here, you have, your family tree, before and after. So it's like conceptually, like everything about this thumbnail is way better than what it is that you're doing here and what it is that you're doing here. So I would just try to, like, if you see how simple this is, like the time on this isn't spent in like Photoshop or Canva or wherever it is you make these. The time here isn't spent there. It's spent in like, how can I represent this, in the best way? And I think that this is, is a better, represent. It's just more, it's easier to internalize. And like with this one, you can't even read the text really, unless you like really dig into that one. So I would definitely do that. I would also update these here. Like how many, oh, never mind this. I don't know if this is a short or not. It's right on that line. Sometimes they'll make it that way. So I'll just assume that's a short and we won't worry about the thumbnail. Also, if you have series like this, if they're not bringing traffic into the channel, just from time to time, just a little housekeeping thing, just like go through and be like, hey, this is bringing in traffic still, so I'll prioritize these playlists instead of, just kind of leaving stuff on there, because it looks like maybe you haven't done anything here in a while. So, you know, if it's a concept that didn't perform well, then just going ahead and taking it off, and then just replacing that with like something else that, you know, that does perform better. So then that way, when people hit your channel page, you're taking the full opportunity instead of possibly missing them by not having content here that they would be, you know, likely to enjoy. So these, I would be really interested to see, or just curious on these, because you have a big date up here. I'd be really curious to see if you have like spikes in viewership on or around these days. And then if it falls off drastically after these days, because putting stamps on these like this, like when you have it here in the playlist, it makes sense. Like the day in Canadian history, a new video short each day highlighting, you know, whatever, where, oh, it's a short, so it's fine. But the thing that I was going to say is, like, you know, in the playlist you have context, but on the page itself you don't really have a lot. So having the dates on there doesn't make like a ton of sense. You know, in terms of like, this is going to grab my attention and possibly pull me into this video. Having those dates on there doesn't make a lot of sense to have that on there, and it might actually be restricting the reach of that content. The Empire Strike Back, the Irish Diaspora, finding meaning in the history of your ancestors. That's good. So another thing, just another quick idea for you, is like here, if you look at the quality of this image compared to the quality of your image, I would definitely, because it looks like you have quality images, because this one's a better quality image. I would definitely try to get your image quality up, you know, to match this. Because this is like just a nice, like, clear image, and because it's a nice clear image, it makes that image of you look bad. So, you know, like if you look here, like how just like clear this is, you know, how clear, you know, some of these other ones are. And then you have, you know, you to where it's just kind of like clouded out a little bit, and faded. Like people build expectations on the quality of content based on the thumbnail. So if you have like a higher quality photo here, then people's expectation, like, oh, hey, this must be, it'll just automatically in their brains be like, hey, this must be okay content just because it looks good from the outside. So, you know, having those types of things in place is definitely something that I would do. And I would just kind of, you know, try to level up the image quality if you can. Let's look at something that we haven't looked at. Actually, first for you, I want to check and see something really quick. Yeah, also make sure that you are using this on a regular basis. If you do the same thing that I mentioned before, if you do publish on, you know, very specific days and times and all that, then just kind of scheduling this around there will just help people engage, help keep people engaged in your content, and help, you know, pull them back in. So I would definitely, you know, definitely do that. Hey, thanks, Green Machine. I appreciate it, man. Okay, you are streaming too, which is cool. Yeah, like even these, right? Like they're to where it's like, hey, this is something where if you're interested in like this area, you know, it'll kind of pull your attention down there. So, you know, I like that part of the thumbnails. But I'm gonna do something a little bit different here, since we've been sharing a lot of the same information between channels. Okay. So first, instead of having, you know, to help you get started in family research, check out these videos and putting that link right up here at the beginning of your playlist, I would actually put a little bit of a description there first, but then give yourself, you know, enough space to where you can still get the link to that playlist in there. So basically, you know, just grab the character limit from the description, and then just make sure that you have, you know, that safe, you know, that you basically put it in the bottom line, and then you have an actual description of some kind on top of that. So then that way, you know, there's that context that can also possibly help you show up in search, depending on, you know, if you're going to optimize this for search or not. And then you still get to spread awareness about that playlist that you're trying to drive people into. Because, you know, keep in mind, like, you know, YouTube does use this for context. It's mostly the title and then what they pull from the video, but this does also give, you know, the system context. So you definitely want to make sure that you are just, you know, being mindful of, you know, what you're putting in your description and where you're putting things. My guess is that you're just trying to get people to watch more videos, which is a win. But you also want to make sure that you're giving that context. And one of the reasons for this is, let's see here. Let me see if I can show you. Let's see what happens here. Okay. So one of the reasons for this is if you look right here, right, then you'll see that there's like this little blurb in YouTube search that everybody gets. So when you add, hey, there's Amy. So when you add the, that description there, then it just gives you, a little bit more information. But it actually looks like they're actually pulling more. Hold on. Oh, okay, no, it's good. Yeah, so yeah, just getting that to where your description would also look good if somebody were to, run across it and search, because, that can be something that can pull people into the content as well, or that kind of helps pull people into the content. Search channel, all good there. Really quick. Okay, that's good. Selling services. Another thing is like right here, if you are going to, like if you're doing consulting for this, I would actually move this up higher in the description. Like, I'm not sure exactly what it is that you're after. Like if you're after like, like just growing the channel, then in that case, prioritizing the playlists so that people go into more content's the win. If you are like, hey, I would love to get more consulting work, then in that case, moving that up a little bit higher to where it's like that blurb and then maybe your playlist link. But then as soon as they open the description, then you have the information there is like one of the very first thing they see there in your description as that link to, have you work with them to help them set up their family tree. That's something that you should do in all of your descriptions. So then that way, some of the first information they see, just in case they get distracted, they get to know that you have that service available. Another thing is if you do not have it currently, make sure that you have information about that on your About Me page too. Hold on. History. Start. Also, keep in mind this isn't clickable. So like on a mobile device, for example, this is going to be a pain. So one of the things that you can do, because you have 2,000 subscribers now, you might be able to get into the Amazon. I mean, you're already in Amazon. So create an influencer account there and set up a store and then just put one link to the store down here instead of doing it here, because these aren't clickable and not a lot of people, especially if they're watching on a mobile device, are going to go through the process of like copying these out and pasting them. So, having a clickable link and using this in a different way would be the better move. So like one thing that I would do here is, and this is the idea for getting more consults, is I wouldn't even worry about this, because what you're going to make off of these is going to be minor compared to what it is that you're charging for your consulting. So because of that, I would prioritize the consulting. So instead of having this, I would actually remove this block since they can't click on it anyway. And then I would say, hey, if you are looking for, to put your family tree together or any of the services that you offer, I would just put a blurb about that and then tell them to click the link at the bottom of the page. And then by doing that, then, that's driving them down to there and it spreads awareness that you have that service to offer. How you're doing it here, this is perfect up here. Another thing is experiment with chapters. So in this case, chapters might make sense because I'm not sure what the content is. But keep in mind, like chapters, they aren't always the best move. So, sometimes, chapters are good and viewers sometimes want chapters. But sometimes, they can work against you, and they can work against you because, sometimes people can come into the video and they just skip to that like one part and then, they just bail after that one part. So you just get like a little bit of watch time. So I would experiment and I would just think through like, for this type of video, does it make sense to have, all of these chapters in here, or should I just try letting people watch the video and see what happens there? You might've done this already, but I would definitely experiment with that to see if you can catch a difference there. So any questions about that, Brian, just let me know. Shoot me a message on Facebook because we're connected there. So on that note, I just want to remind everybody that this is made possible by TubeSpanner, which is a YouTube tool. It has all kinds of really helpful, things for you as a content creator in there. So like as an example, it has, bio pages that you can use, AI script writing tool, thumbnail builders, thumbnail previewers, so you can see how your thumbnails look on home pages before you even publish your video. Upload assistant, they integrate with StreamYard. You can schedule social sharing of your videos directly without having to leave the YouTube interface. All all kinds of just really helpful tools for you as a content creator. So you can check that out at tubespanner.com. And thanks TubeSpanner for just letting me do this here on the channel. Super appreciated. Yeah, and they're good at really bad jokes and dad jokes as well. So thank you so much everybody for hanging out. So we are going to be doing this again here on the TubeSpanner channel. This is a regular occurrence to where we're doing these on a regular basis. So make sure you subscribe if you enjoyed this, and if you want to, next time, hopefully get your channel pulled up, make sure you subscribe so you can swing by next time. Again, these are all pulled randomly. So please, I've gotten, a few messages about people saying that, hey, I hung out and I didn't get my channel pulled up or whatever. Keep in mind, there's a lot of people, that are hanging out in the chat, and this is all just randomly selected based on that hashtag. So, just keep that in mind. But hopefully, your channel can get pulled up next time. And thank you everybody so much for hanging out. Have an awesome rest of your weekend. I'm going to be streaming on my main channel, which links to me. If you're not familiar with me and my channel, I teach people about YouTube and how to thrive on the platform. I've got links to me down in the description as well on my main channel. So make sure you check that out. Everybody have an awesome rest of your weekend, and I will see you next time.